it's Daniel and Mariah here, and today we're going to be talking about wedding planning on a budget.
Weddings can be expensive, but they don't have to be.
Yes.
So we wanted to quickly drop 3 tips for wedding planning on a budget. The first one, this one is one that I would say is my top advice.
Yeah.
And it is pick your splurge. Like there's a lot
Yes.
of things that fall under the expense line when it comes to weddings.
Mm-hmm.
And what I like to remind couples of is that you don't have to spend like the top amount for every category.
Yeah.
So it's like if you really value the bride's dress,
Yeah.
spend on that. If
Yeah.
you really value photography, spend on that. If you really value food, spend on that. But pick maybe 1, 2, maybe 3 things that you really value and want to splurge on, and save on the rest.
Yeah.
So a micro way that we did this, I want to give a couple examples. A micro way that we did this was rings.
Yeah.
So I am really not a jewelry guy. So I got my ring, this flashy looking piece of...
Which it felt to him very flashy
Drip.
when you had to start wearing it.
I got this for $30 off Amazon. And I did that because I wanted to put... Mariah's not a crazy flashy person either, but I wanted to put more money into her jewelry just because I loved her ring, loved the color, it's a sapphire, and I just wanted to choose to value that more than mine. Another thing that we chose to kind of save on, a part of this was because we had a friend who had a property that could allow for this. But instead of going to like this massive expensive venue, we actually decided to do it in a friend's backyard. We're able to host probably 100 to 120 people. And it was awesome. Beautiful day in August. And we were able to save a bit there.
Yeah, I
so that we
think
can splurge in other areas.
another way, like I've seen couples choose to do one thing and not the other, is it's become more popular to actually not offer dinner at a reception, but instead have like a standing dessert reception or something like that. And I think for us, we really value food and having meals together. I don't know if we would have made that decision, but I would suggest that if you're really tight for money, because food is one of the biggest expenses you'll have that day. And it's like, people will still have fun.
And as a caveat, we love going to weddings with food.
Yes,
but that is a tip. If you are really trying to be tight on the budget, make sure to save that way. Okay. Also, I wanted to mention photography.
Yes.
Because I feel like people don't talk about photography enough. Like we're in this like Instagram era, TikTok era, Pinterest era, where people feel like they need this, like their wedding needs a trailer and like a post video commercial, all this stuff.
And maybe your wedding does need that.
And they need like these prime photos.
Yeah.
We got these amazing photos, but looking back, although I love our photos, I'm like, oh, did I care more that they preserved the memory?
Yeah.
Or do I care that they're like top tier?
Yeah.
And so for you, if you just care that the memory's preserved, I would say like get a cheaper photographer.
Yeah.
Or if you really, really don't care and you're just like, oh, we just want photos from our day, I would create like a folder, a cloud, or like even like a Google Drive folder, not a sponsored ad, but a Google Drive photo, and I would just dump all like send the link to your guest, and then say take photos from the day with your I almost said iPods, with your iPhones, with your
Touch.
Samsung phones, whatever phone you have. And drop the photos that you take from the day in that folder. And you'll be able to keep it forever, save it onto a thumb drive or whatever.
At our wedding, one of our friends, had brought a disposable camera. And some of our favorite pictures from our day is from her disposable camera. And it's like, that was, I mean, I guess she had to pay to develop them. But besides that, it's like free. And there's something about the pictures that other people take that really make you remember the day in such a real way.
And from different perspectives. So I'd say pick your splurge and save on everything else. There's still things that like bridesmaids gifts and groomsmen gifts that we were able to give, but we didn't spend like hundreds and hundreds of dollars per groomsman or per bridesmaid. Like those are little things that you can save and recapture kind of memories or moments with your bridal party instead of doing a gift. What's the second thing?
The second thing is to get married out of season.
Oh, this is a hack.
This is not something we did. We actually originally were planning to get married in December, and then our schedules opened up and we got married in the summer a little sooner. But that, like, things are a lot cheaper. Venues, caterers.
More available and cheaper.
Availability. And so, yeah, it's like kind of a small tip, but something to consider. Get married out of season. Something cool about getting married out of season is that when you go on your honeymoon, if you go right after your wedding, it'll be like cold and wintertime maybe where you live. Yeah. And then you'll get to go somewhere nice and warm. So there, I think some people have like really set dreams about getting married in the summer or the spring and don't even consider how much money you could actually save you.
Yeah, it's so true. And a double hack is like if your wedding lands out of season for weddings in your area. Yeah. And then if your honeymoon location is also out of season for like the typical travel, that's a double hack. So keep that in mind. Third thing is ask for hookups. I think that people have this weird like, I guess resistance to asking for things. And I think that obviously like there's an appropriate level of what you ask for, but like when it's like birthdays, when you're having a kid, when you're getting married, those are like the times where it's like people are most sympathetic and feel like generous, like want to help you out, want to set you up for a lifelong like marriage. So I would say really ask for, like we were able to save thousands of dollars because people in our life were willing to chip in different areas. I remember recently talking to a couple who was getting married and I was like, hey, just a heads up, like Mariah and I are available. Like if you need to use us in whatever way, make sure to do that. Like last minute errands, whatever. And they're like, I just don't want it to ever feel like we're using people. And I'm like, no, we're your friends. Like you're supposed to use us when you're getting married. It's like that's what friends are for. Make sure to use me. I want to feel used. Yeah. And so like overcome that like fear of using people and really lean into that.
Yeah. I also wonder like too, if you really went out there and asked like let's say, you know how everyone gets their bridal parties like little gifts to ask them, or maybe gifts after. It's like, what if you contacted a brand that you love and said, hey, I'm getting married, I would love to like have a little gift for is there anything you guys can do? And I just feel like certain asks like that, you'd be surprised how many yeses you would get. So don't be afraid to ask.
Discount codes, stuff like that. Like I remember our rehearsal dinner, we asked the restaurant if they would give us like a discount because it's our wedding. And they're just like, oh, sure. And it was just like, oh, you mean if I didn't ask, you wouldn't have suggested that? But because I asked, it was like, it wasn't even like a question. Yeah. And so ask for hookups. Again, it might be uncomfortable for you, but just try to push past it because you know what's more uncomfortable? Having $10,000 of debt after your wedding.
That's true. I also have kind of a bonus tip that I thought of as we were talking.
I love that.
Okay, so something you could do, I feel like it's very traditional to go on your honeymoon right after your wedding. Yeah. But you're spending a lot of money on your wedding. Yeah. And so something can do that maybe won't necessarily save you money, but it'll give you more time to save money for your honeymoon, is take your honeymoon later in the year. Yeah, yeah. That's something we did kind of unintentionally, but I loved it. Like, it was so fun to look forward to our honeymoon. That I think we took it 4 months or 3 months after we got married. So it's so much fun to look forward to. And then it was fun to just be on the honeymoon and not come off the like craziness of a wedding. And just really be able to enjoy the vacation together. So that's what I would say. If you're like stressed and strapped for cash for your honeymoon, don't be afraid to take it later in the year, and then make sure you have time to save and time to make it awesome. And yeah, no, I think that's really, really good advice. If you have more tips, let us know. Drop them in the comments. If you're planning a wedding, be blessed as you plan. It's such an exciting season as you prepare to get married. Yes. Soak in the moments. Don't rush past the season of just waiting for the wedding, because it is a special one. Yeah. And if you're curious about more tips for wedding stuff or relationship advice, then make sure to like and subscribe. And we will talk to you soon. Bye.